Europa Oil Gas has published its annual results. As a producer, it's come through with a loss of £1.6 million in what it calls difficult conditions, where revenue has fallen from £2.2 million to £1.3 million. It's been cutting costs by a third, though. UK production is set to double. There's what the company calls a high-impact well to be drilled, and it's building a position in Atlantic Ireland. Hugh MacKay is Chief Executive. He joins us now with some more analysis. That's the outline of the numbers. What's the message for shareholders of these results?
I think Europa is very well positioned to take advantage of what I hope will be better market conditions for us in 2017. As you said, production's set to double. Wrestle should be coming on stream in early 2017 at 500 barrels a day. We've got 30% now, so that's 150 barrels. Add that on to the 123 that we're already producing, so we're looking at 273 barrels a day. And at that level, Europa can, as a company, is breaking even down to $30 oil, meaning that we don't have to go out and raise money simply to keep the office open. So that's quite important for us. We can start to self-fund some of our G&G work, some of our exploration capex. It can't pay for a well off Ireland, but getting Wrestle on production is a very important milestone for us.
Yeah, one of the headlines on that actually was the fact you've sold down a bit of that interest, haven't you? Why are you doing this? I mean, if it's going to be part of your big move into production and you're benefiting from it, why sell it?
Everything's for sale at the right price, and this was a useful opportunity to monetize a comparatively small percentage, 3.34%, which we sold for £600,000 cash. And on a mark-to-market basis, that values our remaining 30% at £5.4 million, which is half our market cap at the moment, which is suggesting that possibly Wrestle is undervalued, or our Irish position is undervalued, or our remaining position in the UK is undervalued. You know, the markets are always right, of course, but we thought it was a sensible monetization of the project at this stage.
Yeah, okay. I want to take a look at that in the context of share price in just a minute so we can get a better perspective of what's happening. What else is going on at the company? Because you've got a lot of balls in the air at the moment. You're talking about going to the Atlantic and coming on with another well, I know, which you're going to be drilling. Yeah,
so in the UK, a lot of the activity now is at the Holmwood prospect in Pedal 143. We've got planning permission for that, and we're very much focused now on discharging conditions. So we're working with Surrey County Council and their Environment Agency with the intention of drilling that well in 2017. We're now getting into the very nitty-gritty of discharging the conditions, but that's moving ahead, and I suppose the developments at Horse Hill are very positive. So Horse Hill is almost 12 kilometres due east in a very similar...
It's near Gatwick, isn't it?
It's near Gatwick, 12 kilometres due east from Holmwood. It's a very similar geological structure, penetrates very similar stratigraphy, and they got a fantastic result, producing 1,300 barrels a day from macritic limestones, which could be a new play in the Weald Basin. So we're very encouraged by that. 1,300 barrels a day is an outstanding flow rate for an onshore well, and they got 300 barrels a day out of the Portland, which was the main reservoir anyway. So we're very encouraged by those results. Whilst we already regarded Holmwood as low risk, the results from Horse Hill make you feel even better about it. So I think it's very useful that UK Oil and Gas are a partner, because they can share insights and learnings so that, for example, when we come to test the well, as I hope we will, we'll be able to employ best practice in testing limestones.
Should investors, when they look at this and they hear what you've got to say, should they expect more divesting? Should they expect more companies to come in and support you and move ahead with you? Because ultimately it gives you money on the balance sheet, doesn't it? I mean, that's the plus of all this.
That's right. We're an exploration company, and everything is for sale at the right price. So, for example, at Wrestle, £600,000 cash for 3.34 million, we felt represented good value to our investors, and we won't hesitate to take action in the future. We've done 3 deals this year. We farmed out some of Holmwood. We purchased Shale Petroleum's UK interests, and we've just done the deal to sell 3.34% of Wrestle. There are always 1 or 2 conversations going on about deals. I hope that we can land some more. I mean, I can't tell you who we're talking to or what we're talking about, But I hope that we will be doing more deals over the next few months.
What about Atlantic Ireland? How excited are you about that? Because that has not produced, I think I'm right in saying, the sort of results that some had been hoping for in other companies, in other areas around there.
Well, I'm very encouraged by the developments in Atlantic Ireland. And if we sort of take a look at the bigger picture, they've had the best licensing round with the 2015 round that was announced earlier this year. That's the best licensing round they've ever had in Ireland, irrespective of oil price. So that's a remarkable result, given that it is $50 oil, and for many companies, they're under extreme capital constraints and don't do exploration, no new ventures anywhere. So to have the best licensing round ever is a strong result, but particularly given that they have succeeded in attracting majors back into the basin. And in particular, some of them at least have chosen to spend money this year shooting seismic. So I think when we're looking at Ireland, we need to be thinking of more a 5-year look ahead. And my view is that over the next 5 years, at least I hope half a dozen wells are going to be drilled. I hope that we will represent some of those, and that someone in there is going to find oil and commercial quantities of oil. So our aim now is we've got 7 licenses. We have the largest area under license of any operator. Ourselves and Providence have got, with 7 licenses, are the top operators, and we've got more licenses in the round than anyone else. And we want to turn that into half a dozen drillable prospects that will represent a diversity of plays in a diversity of basins, so that no matter where the discoveries are made, we've got good exposure to it and good read across. And any one of them is a company maker.
Yeah. Let's go back to the point you mentioned about the 5.4 million value you've got at Wrestle, because I think it's the right path to bring up your share price, to explain a little bit about how all this works, because here we are at 4.8 pence, a total market cap of 11.5. So what you're saying is the valuation of that part of the business that you just sold 3 percentage points of represents half your market cap.
Yes. Yeah.
So what do we say then about 4.8 pence for Europa Oil and Gas share price in the context of the value of the rest of the company?
Well, we've previously suggested a P80 value of 27p.
Price?
Using the current ERC price stack, which is, I think, they had $57 in 2016. So we continue. We always monitor what's Europa worth, and ultimately the markets tell us what we're worth. But we feel that there's quite a big bust between the value that we see in the portfolio, using some quite hard-headed numbers, and we're coming up with a P80 of 27p. The markets currently got us down about our P90. So perhaps they maybe don't believe Wrestle until it actually comes on production. Which we're hoping it's actually going to come on production in early 2017, and perhaps once that comes online and people can see the tankers taking oil to Immingham, that they will then start to ascribe more value to Wrestle and the upside that's there, because it's not just the Wrestle production well. We've got contingent resources in the Penistone and an exploration prospect at North Broughton. In addition to that, we've got Holmwood, 5.6 million barrels. We feel it's one of the best undrilled prospects in the UK that we hope to drill in 2017. And the 2 other licenses we got in the 14th round, Cloughton and Hardstoft, are appraisal projects. These aren't sort of wild exploration ideas. Hardstoft is an oil field. It's got 2C resources of 3.1 million barrels. Meaning
this is inshore.
This is onshore. Onshore oil. It was the first well ever drilled in the UK in 1919, and they found oil. Produced a small amount of oil from Carboniferous limestones. So we hope we're partners there with the NEOS and Upland, and the idea there is to rejuvenate the field and produce more oil. We know it's there. We know where the structure is, and it's also very similar with Cloughton, where we've got 45%. It was a gas discovery made by Bow Valley in the 80s, flowed gas to surface, and Third Energy are the operator, and we hope that we can bring that, drill a well and bring on commercial gas production. So, there's some And as well as that, we've got 123 barrels a day production. So there's quite a good story in the UK that isn't necessarily represented in our share price yet. And then in Ireland, I hope that over the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to be developing 6 drillable prospects, any one of which is a company maker, but also, I suppose, crucially, to start to land something, to land a farm out over the next few months on FEL 313.
Well, that's almost got to happen, isn't it? Because you've got a lot of expenses coming. So presumably to pay for that, you've then got to sell down other parts of your more successful businesses, which is what
I mean, I think what. Well, definitely for FEL 313, we're 100% in all of them. Yeah. And we're not going to drill these at 100%, as well as, we want the technical endorsement of a farming partner and their money. The candidates for farming in are majors and super majors. We are in dialogue. It's going very well from the sense of the right people have been in the room and we're still in conversation with them. They haven't said no, but they're taking their time to make decisions. And part of this is because of the oil price has been lower for longer, and that's coming through on major companies' exploration budgets. They are being radically cut back. If the oil price throughout 2016 had been $50 to $60, as opposed to starting off at 27, when people are starting the budget cycle around now, they might be doing it with a glass half full mentality.
You've already said the baseline for crude at your operation is $30 a barrel, but costs have come down in the business a lot, haven't they?
Yeah, costs have come down hugely. We've already said before that costs of drilling offshore Ireland have dropped. Rig rates have dropped from 600,000 to 300, but it's also going into the seismic market. So it's cheaper to acquire seismic, but more relevant to us because with a lot of our new licenses, there is historic 3D data over them already, and the costs of that have tumbled, meaning we can afford to do the reprocessing ourselves, take them to drillable prospect, and then farm out. So that puts us in much more control about what we're doing, controlling the costs, but also controlling the quality of the information, because we've now built up a lot of expertise in Ireland over the last 5 years, and we're in a very good position to start deploying it.
And that's one of your longer term
and it is longer term. I mean, when you're looking at Ireland, I think you have to be looking at a 5-year time frame, realistically. And over that period, there will be a number of wells drilled, hopefully some by us, but also by other people, and we can name Providence and Woodside straight away. Success at any one of those is going to uplift the whole basin and uplift us. So, I think the next 5, with Ireland, you need to be thinking longer term, but in the short term, next year, early 2017, Wrestle comes on production, and during 2017 we'll drill Homewood, and hopefully we get a result as exciting as Horse Hill.
We look forward to hearing more as it
Thanks
comes
very
through.
much.
Hugh, thanks very much indeed. Hugh MacKay, it's the Chief Executive of Europa Oil and Gas.